What you just saw was the most recent glimpse of our innovation journey that started 4 years ago. It's all marketing pitch, as you can imagine. We have gone through a long journey of learning some lessons, some hard lessons. We have gone through the journey of building camaraderie within our team members. And my goal today, as Nina was talking to me to be a keynote speaker here, my goal today is to share the journey with all of you for the last 4 years. But I have only one goal out of this whole session. So when this session is over, when you finish your lunch, you walk outside this door, walk back to your car and start driving back to your work. I just want you to take one message. Whatever you're going to see in the next 45 minutes and whatever interaction that we have in the next 45 minutes, you can do the same thing at your workplace. Nothing is rocket science. All of us have the capability to do the same thing at a workplace at different levels. You can do it within your IT team. You can do it at a corporate level. You can do it in one department. You just need to have the will. We'll figure out the way on how to get there. So that's the only message I like all of you to take back. So if my clicker works, okay. So let me start off by giving an overview of our company. Edenred, which is a company, is a publicly held company operating for the last 50 years. 6,000 employees worldwide and 100 employees in the US. Our US innovation journey started in 2012. And if I have to look back, why did we really start innovation? There is no one answer for that, but as I was preparing for this session, I still remember all of us, not our management team, not our CEO, all the staff members, we felt there was this need to create new services, new products, new concepts for our stakeholders. We felt we were missing that. In the absence of that, our jobs have become such operational job, day to day, keep the lights on. After a while it gets boring. Not only for IT, even for customer service, even for sales, selling the same thing over and over again. So we all jointly felt there was something missing and we have to do something about it. So that's where our innovation journey started in 2012. And we called our innovation journey as Customer Insight. Customer Insight, which was a project that was conceived, which affects all the stakeholders. This is what Customer Insight looks like. So we have got all the stakeholders, which are called A for affiliates, which is also called as partners. B for beneficiaries, which are the employees who are using the services. C for clients. E for our own employees, shareholders, and community. So we identified these as our stakeholders in our overall ecosystem. To share with you the magnitude of seriousness that we had behind innovation, we created teams, dedicated teams, with one team focusing on one key stakeholder. So you can imagine there were 6 teams. And then we went around and actually handpicked our staff members based on their skills, their expertise, their desire, and assigned them to these teams. So you can imagine every one of us, including our CEO, we had our primary job. On top of the primary job, we were assigned to one of these teams. So these teams were tasked with coming up with new concepts, new ideas. Everything under the sun is possible. Some teams flew to San Francisco to conduct user groups, user panels. Some teams tried out some new prototyping of mobile app, web technology, that anything that you want to try out those things. And we were trying to measure the progress of innovation. And the way we were trying to measure was by having quarterly checkpoints with the management team. So every single team out of the 6 teams would have half an hour, come in front of the management team, present for half an hour what you have done for the last quarter. What were your findings? What was your market research? What was your ROI analysis? With an intent to engage the management team in a dialogue that we can improve on the idea, enhance the idea, and then go back, continue doing the same thing with an intent. By the end of the year, every team of these 6 teams would have some ideas that deserve merit that we can take into account for next year's strategic planning. So in 2012, which was the first year, we got 18 ideas that were worthy of investment by the corporate level that we decided to invest in. It was the first year of our journey. Now, besides the innovation, we also found some things that were really beneficial that we had not realized before that. The first was opportunity for team members to work with their cross-functional team members. Imagine somebody from accounts, a DBA, a salesperson, and somebody from call center working together on one mission of how do I improve my partners or how do I improve my clients. And that's their mission that they focused on. And the amount of new perspectives that all of us learned was unbelievable. As a software engineer, you will never get exposed to how marketing plans things, how to do marketing campaigns. So when you hear a software engineer coming into your quarterly meeting presenting how they marketed this concept is out of the world. If nothing else, all of us became richer in our experience of working at the company. The second wonderful thing that we found out was the amount of energy people put in this whole innovation process was incredible. And just so you know, we were so serious about innovation, a part of our compensation was based out of innovation. So that means each one of us would have a part of our compensation that will be evaluated how we performed on customer insight. So first year, Fantasyland, wonderful. Right in the middle of second year, we started experiencing some growing pains. Growing pains because the conversation that we were having with our respective managers was, hey, I'm in a call center, and for the month of January, I need to take myself out of taking phone calls for 4 hours or 5 hours so I can contribute to customer insight. And that's my primary job, taking phone calls. Similarly, a project manager may walk up to me, hey Niraj, I need to be away for 4 hours. Sometimes it was possible to make those things happen, and other times it was not. So there was a logistical challenge. So the ramification of this challenge was the teams who could not really take themselves out of their day-to-day responsibilities suddenly started having a gap between their knowledge and the team's knowledge. And the gap increased by every month. And second, which was a bigger impact, was people started dropping out of the innovation. And as part of our compensation was based on that, that means if I'm dropping out, I am resigning to the fact a part of my bonus would not be available to me. That is very demoralizing. And my counterparts who were able to take our time, now suddenly they have double the work, half the staff. So they were not happy either. So we realized this problem in the third quarter of second year that we need to figure out and address this challenge. People were happy because they were getting a chance to contribute towards idea creation. But we had to overcome this logistical challenge. So that's when we started researching literature on innovation. We started talking to companies. We started coming to networking events like this because we don't have the answers, but I'm sure somebody else has figured those answers out. And we started talking to, we have talked maybe 150, 200 people at multiple levels, in multiple companies, in multiple industries. What can we do? I can't replicate whatever Apple is doing, but I have to understand what Apple is doing and internalize that to our own concept. So that's where our journey started. So we are talking about, as in 2012 we launched the innovation journey. 2013 we scaled it out, ran into some challenges, and 2014 was a year of learning and applying those learning. And right around that time I got the charge from our CEO to lead this innovation effort in 2015. So end of 2014, early 2015. And my charter was bring the fun back. Remove the obstacle that we are facing, go figure it out. And honestly speaking, I didn't have answers for that. And so the part of all the research we have done, talking to people, if I start sharing those things, it will take maybe another few days for us to share all those research findings. I like to boil down to 3 specific stories that had a profound impact on what we did in 2015. The first story that we have was about the launch of Sputnik in 1957. The way the story goes, Soviet Union at that time launched the first man-made satellite at the height of Cold War. When they launched it, they knew very well that global media would not believe them. So the engineers at the Soviet Union at that time, they cleverly programmed Sputnik to start sending radio signals out at microwave frequency. The weekend after the launch, there were heated discussions and debates going on in Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab in Maryland. There were a bunch of smart people like physicists, mathematicians, scientists, some debating that they did not believe what the news was, some believing what the news was. And out of those people, there were two guys who were doing their PhD in microwave technology, and they were physicists. So they excused themselves from that conversation, ran back to their office, and the first thing they did was took out their microwave receiver, plugged it in, and started tuning to the right frequency. And within a short time, what they heard was simply amazing. Beep, 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 beep. It may be silly beeps to us right now. At that time, it was music to the ears. It was the first time somebody has heard any signal from outer space from something which is man-made. They were jumping, they were ecstatic. And as we are all engineers, physicists are also like engineers, we all know we like to timestamp everything. They started timestamping all the beeps. They were looking for an iPod, but there was no iPod at that time. So they had audio cassettes. They started recording it on the audio cassette. So putting an amplifier, putting an audio cassette, and start timestamping every beep. So like engineers, we don't give up, right? They didn't give up. By the end of the day, they were able to start seeing a pattern in those beeps. The waveforms were different. They said, you know what? How about we apply Doppler's effect over here? They did. And what they found out was the velocity at which Sputnik was traveling. So you can imagine this news spread like wildfire in the entire department. Over the next few weeks, people just want to stop by to hear the silly beeps. Mathematicians, scientists, they just were curious. How can we help? How about this? How about this? Have you tried these things? People were curious. They were like kids, just wanted to play with those beeps. And over the next few months, they were able to come up with a formula that could project the trajectory of Sputnik. So now, if you take a look back, within a matter of few months, they went from listening to a beep that they did not believe was real. They went to calculating the velocity of Sputnik, to figuring out the trajectory of Sputnik. And they were all happy with whatever they are doing. So a few months, maybe a quarter later, the two physicists got a phone call from their program director to come and see him in his office. That's not a good sign. Not sure what the content of the meeting was. They were scared. They went to the conference room. And the program manager asked, so I heard you have done these things. So you can calculate the velocity, yep. And you can calculate the trajectory as well, yep. So if I were to reverse the problem, can you still do the same calculations? So what do you mean? If I had a stationary satellite and a moving receiver on Earth, can you still find the velocity of that object on Earth? Can you still find the trajectory of that object on Earth? They thought about it. Yeah, we can do that, but why? Just answer the question. You can do it? Yes. Half a century later, that's called GPS technology. So this team was going through an innovation process. They didn't know it was innovation. What they were doing was having fun. They were just peeling the layers of onion, not knowing what they're going to find next. And honestly, that didn't matter to them. They were just curious. So that had a profound impact on our thinking of innovation journey in 2015. So some of the key takeaways that we had was, one, I can't force people to innovate. The way we were doing in 2012, 13, 14, I can't force people to innovate. In this case, nobody forced them. If the vision is compelling enough, people will be pulled to the vision rather than being forced to the vision. So can we make it optional exercise in our office? The second, there was no incentive. They were doing it for the sake of fun. So can I take the incentives away while still innovating? The third was that the diversity of thought, the diversity of background always enriches the idea, which we were doing anyways, which we felt good about looking at this experience. So that's the first story. I'll come back to how this whole thing came together in our company. The second story that really had a profound impact on us was called the Marshmallow Challenge. Have anybody heard of this challenge before? Okay, a few people. So Marshmallow Challenge is a very simple challenge. Teams are formed. All they are given are 20 spaghetti sticks, a yard of thread, a yard of tape, and a marshmallow. And they have only one goal: make the tallest standing structure with marshmallow on the top in totality, like you can't eat half the marshmallow, in under 18 minutes. That's the only challenge they have got. This challenge has been done across 70 countries, millions of times. If you have not done it, I would encourage you to go back to your office and do it. Results are simply outstanding. So the challenge is very simple, but the results are the intriguing part of it. So on an average, teams build structure of around 20 inches of height. You know what? We always think that MBA grads are really smart. MBA grads, business school grads build half of that, 10 inches. Why is that? This is innovation. They should be the smartest people over there. What we found out was, not we, what the researchers found out is that in those 18 minutes, the business school graduate spent too much time on discussing power sharing, discussing roles and responsibilities, discussing how they're going to make money. They forget to prototype. They tried maybe once or twice. By the time is over. A group that does exceedingly well are kids from kindergarten. 30 inches, 30 inches, consistently. So how is that? We all are educated people. We are supposed to be smarter than our kids. That's how we can set direction for them. How can they beat us consistently? So there are a lot of research that kind of supports the fact that as individuals, we are born creative. All of us, equally creative. But as we start getting older, we educate ourselves to be not creative. What do I mean by that? The way we get educated, the way we get promoted at a workplace is by showing success. If I have a failure, failure is stigmatized. So that means I don't want to fail. That means anything that leads me towards failure or anything that is not destined to success, I don't want to try that either. We stop trying. So we don't embrace failure, we stigmatize failure, so we stop taking risks and chances. On the other hand, these kids, they don't even know what success or failure is. All they were trying to do was have fun, play the game. That's the one big lesson that we realized from this learning. And second one was, just because you're senior in the company, just because I'm the CIO of the company, who cares? Doesn't mean I own the right to innovate. No, I'm maybe the last person in the value chain to even think of innovation. Just because you're a CEO of a company doesn't mean you will have all the intellectual property of all those ideas. So innovation is supposed to break barriers. So what that means is, we as a management team, if we were evaluating your ideas, who are really we to give you critique on the idea? Innovation by definition is, I don't know what's the next step. And when we are applying your traditional measurement metrics like project plan, like ROI analysis, like feasibility analysis, we are killing innovation, if nothing else. Innovation by definition is like ginger. It can grow in any direction, at any pace, the way they want it. Sometimes it may not grow at all. So we have to take this lesson and apply it into our workplace. The last story I'd like to share with you is about a good friend of mine, Dr. Jonathan Reichenthal. He's CIO of City of Palo Alto. And for those of you who don't know who lives in the city, there are some unknown faces like Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, Mr. Elon Musk, and some other Silicon Valley heavyweights. They are the residents of the city. So as a CIO of a city, he can just focus on technology, where you can pay your water bills and electric bills and cable bills and get done with that. But as they pay higher taxes, they demand higher service. And he was challenged with the same challenge that I had in 2014. How do we innovate? And one of the beautiful things that he and his team did were harness the brain power of community. Harness the brain power of community by organizing design challenges and hackathons that included local schools, local colleges, local employers to come and share ideas. I don't have ideas. I can share with you my problem. Tell me what the ideas are. And the way they were done was brilliant. So we wanted to take some of those lessons and apply that to our learning as well. So with all these lessons, we changed our innovation approach. And we called it as a design challenge, not as a customer insight. I'll explain to you what that really means. So first and foremost, I had to convince my management team to make it optional. And as you can imagine, there was a big pushback. We were scared, what if people don't come? We were scared, what if people say, you know what, I don't care. I'm here to do my job, I'm going to do my job and go home. And they said, you know what, within the management team we're having a discussion. If we want to set up an environment which is fail-safe environment, we have to set ourselves in that as well. If it fails, I will take individual responsibility for that. Because if I can't take a chance on my idea, how can I tell any one of our team members outside this room to go and take chance? How can we encourage them to fail? And somehow the conversation went very well, and we said, okay, let's make it optional. Still a scare factor, cross your fingers behind the back, let's make it optional. Second, let's take the incentive off. No incentive. Completely option, do if you like to do, no incentive. The biggest incentive is having fun. Everybody was okay with that, they're saving money. The third thing was, let's stop talking about empowerment, because we talked about empowerment. I've been to so many lectures, we talked about empowerment. And in my mind, empowerment is a negative word. Let me take an example. Let's say I'm talking to somebody, one of my team members, hey John, go, I empower you to innovate. When I use that word empowerment, I'm conveying the fact I have the power and you don't. I'm giving part of my power to you. But guess what? Innovation teaches, you know what? Who cares who has the power? I don't have the power. Innovation is supposed to break barriers, not the same hierarchical structure where I can give you a part of my power. Rather than power, let's focus on autonomy. Autonomy, where you as employees choose what ideas you want to focus on. You as employees choose who you want to work with. You as employees choose how you want to present and what you want to present. If you want to come on the stage and dance, and that's your presentation, so be it. You are the control of your destiny. You are the entrepreneur of your idea. This is your idea and nobody can take it away from you. So there was a big fear that people are going to pick to work with their own friends. There will be no cross-functional team. That's a fair concern. So how do we address the concern? So the way we did that, we sent out a survey to all the team members. Share your ideas that you feel you should work on as a part of Design Challenge 2015. Within a matter of 2 days, we got 38 ideas. 38. More than double what we have gotten after 1 year of work in the first year of innovation journey. Second, we then send a survey. Now we have got 38 ideas. You have got 3 votes. Vote for the ideas 1, 2 and 3. Based on your voting, your team will be decided. You will decide your own team. And you can go and influence people if you want to influence people. That's completely up to you. So out of those 38 ideas, team gravitated towards around 11 ideas that we got. Team size of minimum 6 to 8 people. So those 6 or 8 teams got formed on their own. No management intervention. Thankfully, we didn't kill innovation there. And those teams, they had defined their charter, which is what was the project they had selected to work on. Now we have to give them tools, and we have to free up their mind. So you know what? In the past, we were asking you to make a hard choice, my primary job or innovation. Now, not the case anymore. If you are going to dedicate your time towards innovation, you are off your primary job for that period of time. Again, it was a very hard sell because you can't really take people away from their day-to-day work. So the way we structured it, we hired an outside instructor to train us on design thinking concept. I would encourage all of you, if you don't know design thinking, to search it on Google. You'll find plenty of good books on design thinking. Design thinking is a process which makes us kids again. Design thinking is a process that challenges us to take risks, where failure is always an option. So we hired an instructor and we organized half-day training. So the teams were supposed to be together when they're going through training so they can brainstorm their ideas as well. So if you're signed up for Design Challenge, you're off your job for that half a day because you're in the training. After the training was over, every team got day and a half to work on their project. You want to work overnight, your choice. You don't want to work overnight, up to you. But as a part of this whole setup, we provided free food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you don't have to think about those things. We had conveyance also available in case somebody is running late. We can drop you back to the train station so you can go home safely, everything else. So day and a half. And after day and a half, we organized the design challenge, the video that you just saw. And again, there is a change. Management team is not deciding which idea is good or bad. Who are we? You are the entrepreneurs of the idea. Come and present it to the entire company. And we had real-time video broadcasting to Edenred worldwide of the 52 countries. So some countries logged in to take a look at real time. What you saw was real action. People came and presented their ideas in full view of public. And now we had to pick a winning idea. So we picked 3 ideas, like 1, 2, and 3, and everyone voted for those ideas, real time. No management interference. We had voting through texting, through Twitter, through online. Choose whatever mechanism you want to choose. You've got like 5 or 10 minutes, vote for the ideas, and we picked the top 3 ideas. So that was the journey that we went through in 2015. So these are some of the teams that you can see. There were 10 teams. I just got the time to put 6 teams in here. Have we come a long way? Absolutely. Have we reinvented ourselves? Absolutely. Do we have all the answers? No. And that's not even our desire. Our desire is to find the answers as we see problems. We are peeling the layers of the onion, and we hope that onion never ends. That's our desire. So if you guys want to take one lesson away from this thing, this is the time for all of us in this room. Why do I say this is the time for all of us in this room? Because the impact IT has on any business is by a multiple much bigger than any other functional department. You can have much bigger impact in finance or sales or marketing or HR. That's the power all of us have in this room. You have the keys to unlock value worth billions of dollars. You have the keys to unlock the value of creating dreams for your team members, which are maybe hundreds of team members, and this community where you work with. We are very fortunate to be in technology. We will be behind scheduling projects. Let's accept it. Some people would not like it. Let's accept it. Let's embrace it. Failure is always an option. Let's embrace failure. But let's be bold. Let's take risks. Thank you.